Alright, this testing is for eBayer named forhimwelive. Like, you sent me your NES console that says like just showing a blinking light. So I'm gonna test like a few games first, and then I'll get into the problem. So Guardian Legend, it's just a blank white screen. So second, I'm gonna try Robo Warrior. Wait. Oh wow. So I was able to work with Robo Warrior, but not with the Guardian Legend. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like, maybe hit that push in as hard as you can, though. I do feel like a bit loose on the connection. I noticed like I do feel a bit like loose on the connection when I put the cartridge in. It's like just slides right in, and usually it'd be a bit tighter than that. So it works fine so far, but that doesn't guarantee that my job is done. So let me try the Guardian Legend again. So yeah, it just shows a white screen here, no matter how many times I reset it. So the third test ultimately is Legend of Zelda. Sorry for the focus there. I have to focus it manually since and once again blink white screen. So I'm assuming it's the pin connector. So what I'm going to do is take the console apart, look at the pin connector, and reset the pins and see if that'll work. And I'll let you know. I'll let you see the results afterwards. Hey, I'm back, and I have your NES here, and what I did was I reset the pins on the pin connector there because they were really worn down by years of use. And don't be alarmed of the condition that it's in, the appearance that it's in right now, because this is how I test all the NES consoles I restore before I put the lid back on and seal it up, because in case if something else was wrong, I would want to leave this open just so I can get into that problem with a little more ease, because taking this thing apart is not as easy as you would think. But anyways, so when you put the game in, it's going to feel like tight at times, but that's to ensure that the connection will work. So like that. So like that. Oh wait, hold on. Silly me, I forgot to plug in the AC adapter here. There's nothing wrong with your console on the power, just because I forgot to plug in the AC adapter. So let's try that again. And there you go. Now this is the first game we tested to see if it would work or not, and it came out as a white screen. So as you can hear, it's working perfectly, and yes, I do like this game so much. So yeah, so the next game we're going to test Sorry, I don't have a tripod here, so please forgive me. Alright, so the next game, if I remember where I put them. Oh yeah, right here. The next game is Robo Warrior, and as you remember, we had to reset it a couple times just to get it to work, so there you go. Nothing short of poetry. So yeah, and now sorry about the improvisation here. Hold on a sec. Alright, so the third game we tried to test the last time was Legend of Zelda, and that came out as a white screen, so let's see how this fares out. Ah, yes. There you go. Yeah, I think it's just gotta go to the dialogue. Yeah, pretty much the dialogue here. So yeah, that's what I did, and it works perfectly now. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so what I did, as I said, I reset the pins because each of them were like worn down, and resetting the pins is not hard to do, but it's like really tedious, like to bring them all back up. So I just used one of these to bring them back up to working form. And I also I found that there was like a bunch of like soda marks on the inside the console with the bottom lid and on the board, as you saw with the previous photos, and on the closing lid. And to me, it's like someone must have spilled soda on it at one point and never told anyone about it, but that does not affect like the functionality of the console. And I managed to clean all that soda gunk out of there for you, so now it looks like it looks much better than it did before. So yeah, I'm going to put this back together, and I'm going to play a game on it for like 15 minutes or so, just to give you make sure that it works perfectly. So I'll see you then. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see here, the NES console is like put back together, and I played it for at least like half an hour, and I had no problems with it whatsoever. Now, as I mentioned, like the only thing is that because I reset the pins, like it will be pretty tight when you put the game in and pull the game out, but it will like eventually become like a second nature. Now, take note, just because I reset the pins, that does not mean the problem is fixed permanently. This is like I mean, it's not me or the games at all. This was a design fault by Nintendo, because because when you bend down on the games with the pins, the pins will wear, and that's why you had the blinking red light with the white screen. And because I reset the pins, the connectivity, I ensure the full connection with the game, and it will power up in no time. So this was like the problem with like the NES console with the gray box, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why like with future and Nintendo consoles with cartridges, they went for top loading with like Super NES and 64, etc. But if you want, you can like get an alternative for this. Like there's actually something called a blinking light win device, and what it does is replaces a 72-pin connector with like a brand new thing, and it makes, and when you like put that like device in where the place of the pin connector was, all you have to do is just put in the game, and you don't have to push down on it. It powers up and it works perfectly. They go for like about $25, but if you are able to get your hands on one of those, I will be more than happy to install it for you with no charge whatsoever, because I'm trying to get one of those myself. So yeah, this console is working perfectly. I managed to clean all the soda spots that were on them with some Q-tips, and by some I mean more than a dozen. And yeah, that is really gross, but I've seen much worse cases than this could ever be. I mean, you'd be amazed of what I find in like beat up consoles, and thank God this was not one of those cases. And so yeah, this console is like fully functional, and now I'll be able to ship it back to you as soon as possible, and I'll message you from there. Thank you.